Shabbat Shalom, beloved. Shabbat Shalom. Today is the 9th of May, and we are continuing with looking at the Hebrew scriptures, and see how they lived, how they worshipped, and compare it with today's Bantu way of life and worship. The whole purpose of this is that we establish Yahweh has called out people. Because when you read through scripture, it is necessary for Yeshua to be awakened, to know herself, so that she is restored back on the platform of salvation as the called one of Yahweh, through whom the whole plan of salvation is executed. And so the Christian teaching that goes and says that it's no longer necessary for Yeshua to be restored is contradicting what the scriptures show and teach. It is of very vital importance that the people that Yahweh foreknew, the people that Yahweh made a covenant with, they are restored to their position, to their calling, so that the world may be saved. This is very clear in scripture. Read Romans 9, 10, and 11. Actually, we're going to read those passages, and we clearly reveal that it is very, very necessary, according to Yahweh's plan, that the remnant of Yeshua must be put in place, must be restored to their calling, so that the whole plan of salvation may be completed. And so it is necessary that the people of the book, as scripture says, must know themselves, must be restored to their calling, so that at the end of the time, so that the end of the kingdom of Hashatan will come to an end. There is nothing that is going to prevent that from happening. That's what Yahweh has designed. That's what he has foretold through the prophets. You read through the prophets, you will see this. This thread continues right up to the end of the book of Revelations, where you see the 144 are from Yeshua. The city, the gates, the foundations are all based upon Yeshua. So there is no way we are going to have a Christian takeover, especially knowing that Christianity is a syncretic religious system that is largely composed of paganism. When you come to realize that, then you are going to really see the scriptures for what they are and for what they are really saying. You see, we've been lied to for so long a time, and these lies have built our belief. And our belief systems are based on the lies that have been peddled for thousands and thousands of years, and we have not noticed it until now, right at the end of the time, where we are supposed to be restored, to be awakened, and be put into the true way of worship, into the true way of living. This is called the restoration of true worship and righteous living by belief in Yahusha. So yes, we are continuing with looking at marriage as it is in the scriptures, and compare it with what is found in the Hebrew people, in the Bantu people. So we say, if it looks like a duck, it walks like a duck, it quakes like a duck, it swims like a duck, then it is a duck. So if there are people on this earth that have retained the Torah in their DNA, in their structures, in their way of life, if there are people that live according to the Torah without having to read from a book, then these are the people of the book. That's what we want to establish. And once that is established, these people must be awakened to their calling. And when the remnant of Yeshua who are awakened to their calling come up, then the platform of salvation is now there. And the end of the world is imminent. That's why this truth is coming this hour. We are not sharing this truth to exclude any other people from the plan of salvation. Not by any means. If anything, this is actually the encompassing message, because they are not going to be grafted into nothing. Yahusha, to whom they need to be grafted, comes from a people that are called Yashra'ah, and that nation has got a part to play in the salvation of the world. As a nation, that must be understood. That must be understood. Let's look into marriage today, and we see other forms of marriage that we didn't complete yesterday in the Hebrew culture as well as in the Bantu culture. So in the scriptures, we read of marrying off a daughter because of poverty or because of lack of food. So this is a practice that is found in the scriptures. By the way, what we are talking about, I am not saying it is all ordained by Yahweh from the beginning. No, it's like polygamy. You find that polygamy is rampant in the scriptures, but Yahweh's design was not a polygamous family. He designed one man and one woman to show that according to his plan of a family, it was a man and a woman, not what we have today, where you have two women getting married, two men getting married. No. It was never like that. It is a man and a woman. But because men strayed away from that plan and they chose for themselves to have many wives, right? Yahweh permitted it. It was his permissive will that men would carry on with that life. And you will find that in scriptures, most of the people in the scriptures had more than one wife, right? And so we are not saying that is the ordained plan by Yahweh, but this is a practice found amongst the people of the book. And these practices are still found amongst the Bantu people. And so it therefore means that these people who retain these practices of the ancient are the offspring of them. But why is it that other cultures don't practice that? Why is it's a taboo, for instance, for Europeans to have more than one wife? They can't stand it. And this is what they've extended into Christianity, to the extent that anyone who has got more than one wife is looked at as a sinner who does not deserve to be part and parcel of a group of worshippers, which is completely and totally wrong. Because Yahweh's people, even some priests, they had more than one wife. Right? These are Yahweh's people, Yahweh's servants. Abraham, for instance, had many concubines, many wives, if you like. And you look at Shalom, who's broke the record, more than 1,000, or he has 1,000 wives. So we are saying, as far as that practice is concerned, it is found amongst the people of the book. It makes them to be unique, just like circumcision. It is a practice of Yahweh's people, and it makes them unique in that sense. And if you find the practices in the scriptures being done by a people today, then it therefore points to those people having a connection with the people of the scriptures. And the connection so far we have established is that the people of the scriptures and the Bantu people, they look alike, they same hair, same complexion, and similar names. Language is similar. You find that there's a lot of ancient Hebrew words that still exist in the Bantu languages. So as far as scripture is concerned, the evidence that we've given has proven the connection of the Bantu people with the people of the book beyond any doubt. And so this, we are adding on top of that evidence. We are adding on top of the connections that the people of the book have with the Bantu people. And today, we are continuing with looking at the Torah and see how they lived their lives and how they worship and see it also being practiced in the Bantu way of life. We are still on marriage. There's many areas that we would like to cover, which link up the Hebrew people, which link up the ancient Hebrew people with the Bantu people. I want you to have an open mind and read with me as we go ahead. What are the other forms of marriage? One of them, besides we have already pointed polygamy, which is according to the Bantu people, it's not anything really to talk about or to make to make a big thing out of it. No. Polygamy, according to our culture, is something that is accepted. But polygamy in Christianity is something that is a taboo. You see how different it is? Very, very different. So you can clearly see that Christianity is not going along with the customs and culture of the scripture. It is a Western way of doing things, a Western way of understanding. It's a Eurocentric system of living. It's a Eurocentric system of worship, which is pagan by its very nature. Now, we come to marrying off a daughter because of poverty. And if a man, Shabbat chapter 21, verse 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. That's Exodus chapter 21. It reads like this. And if a man sell his daughter to be a maid servant, she shall not go out as the men servants do. If she please not her master, who hath betrothed her to himself, then shall he let her be redeemed. To sell her unto a strange nation, he shall have no power, seeing he has dealt deceitfully with her. So this is what used to happen. If a family has come on hard times, they don't have food, and there is someone else that they know, which we call Horuza in Shona, Bantu Shona, someone who is a prosperous farmer, who is a prosperous man, who grows and has got plenty of food. Then they go to him and say, we have got a daughter, right? If you would like, we can give you our daughter and please get us out of this quagmire of hunger that we are in. And if he agrees, then there is an exchange of food and rescue from the problems that they are in, with the hope that the daughter, when she grows up, she will become his wife, or sometimes become the wife of her son. So that practice is not anything strange in the Bantu way of life. They still were doing this even in the 70s. It was still a practice that was being done amongst the Bantu people. It was a practice that was done amongst the Bantu people. And so we see the similarity here. Scripture is very clear. It says in verse 9, Shemot 21, verse 9, and if he have betrothed her unto his son, he shall deal with her after the manner of daughters. Right? So this is a maid or that has been married off to another family to rescue that family from hunger. And then it continues, verse 10. And if he take him another wife, her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall ye not diminish. Already in this verse, it is giving you the idea that Yah permitted them to take more than one wife. So in the case of a betrothed a maid who has been given to this man, so because of his wealth and because of the help that he's going to give them, if peradventure this man again gets another wife, then this one will still retain her rights as a wife, right? If he take him another wife, her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall ye not diminish. In other words, the scripture is saying, the man that has betrothed himself to this maiden, then he is going to take her and treat her just like his first wife, or just like his wife. if he's going to get another one, all the things that pertain to a married woman must be provided to this maiden or to this wife. Nothing should diminish. Nothing should be reduced. In other words, this is where Yahuwah makes it fair for men. I mean, for women that are found in a polygamous family or polygamous marriage. Yah expects that the one who chooses to want to have more than one wife, then he is going to deal with all of them fairly, equally. That is what Yahweh expects. So in other words, when you read this text with understanding, you will see that Yahweh is not condemning polygamy as what Christianity teaches. No. He is not condemning it. He has accepted it because it's a way of life that we have done. We've gone on ahead to adopt, even though it is not in his wisdom, it is not his original plan. And Yah wants happiness. He knows where there is more than one wife, men cannot be able to bring peace in that family. There will always be problems. There will always be problems. I'm not saying there are no problems in monogamous families. They are there. They are there. But it's better to deal with one problem than to deal with more than one. That's the understanding that Yahuwah has. But in the events, maybe there is some problems that are there. You want children. Your wife is not giving you children. What will they do? They would marry another wife so that he gets children. Because the mainstay of the economy of the scriptures, which is also the mainstay of the economy of the Bantu people, is based upon this thing that they must produce, have children. Right? We must have children. That was the understanding. That is why they would go to Yahuwah and plead with him to have children. It was not a light matter for the Bantu people or for the Hebrew people, Israelites, not to have a child. Because the moment they get married, it was expected that within a few weeks, months, then the woman should start now showing the signs that she is pregnant. This is the norm. This is what was expected. And this is how they value children, they value family. Family is made up of a man and a wife and their children. And the children, which are a barakah from Yahuwah, are an expected gift. You can't choose to say, I don't want children, as what it is being done in this modern day. You have people, they say they don't want children. They will, even if they are productive, they say they do not want children. Because they want to copy the Western way of life, which is not the way of life that Yahuwah designed for his people. He said, go, multiply, right? And have dominion over the earth. Yahuwah expects his people to go and produce, reproduce, and have children, many children. If you can manage 12, get them. If you manage 6, get them. If you manage 2, get what you can manage. And have children on this earth. It is important for continuity of life to have children. I see people that have made choices when they were young that they will not want to have children. In their old age, they are miserable. They are miserable. They are all alone in that home and they can't help themselves. Had they had an economy which Yahuwah designed for his people, then when you get old, you are considered to be the queen and the king of the family. You have everyone looking after you. Your children, your grandchildren are all looking after you. There is no need for these homes where old people are kept. In the Hebrew, Israelite, and the Bantu economy, there is no room for anyone to be sent to these asylums, these homes. No, there's no need. If we had listened to Yahuwah and lived according to his way of living, his design, his plan for us, if we had done that, then most of the problems that we have now, today, they wouldn't be there. And I must say to you that when we were growing up, the Bantu way of life was very, very identical to the way that Yahuwah expected and designed for our ancestors. And so if it looks like a duck, walks like a duck, and swims like a duck, and quacks like a duck, then it is a duck. We live the scriptures because we are the descendants of the people of the book. So it continues, Shemot 21, right, verse 11 said, and if ye do not these three unto her, then shall she go out free without money. So if the man that had betrothed there and taken her, and if he doesn't fulfill these basic rights that Yahuwah says they must be done. Remember, it is food, it is raiment, it is the duty of marriage. If a woman is living with a husband, and the husband does not give her food, does not give her raiment, does not give her a duty for marriage, right, her sexual rights, then she, according to this text, she is free to go away from that marriage, and there's nothing that this man is going to be given back, even if he had rescued that family from hunger by giving them whatever he gave them. So that was the marrying of a daughter in the Hebrew, in the Israelite custom way of living, and this was practiced by our ancestors. This was practiced by the Bantu people. Anyone who has grown up, like who is of my age and older, they know very well that this was a common practice which was done by our ancestors, and they did this because their own ancestors were living also like that. These are unique characteristics that connect the Bantu people to the people of the book. But this type of marriage was not approved as it were, like Yahuwah says, you must marry off your daughter when you have gotten into problems. It was caused by poverty, right? And the poverty, according to the Bantu way of thinking and according to scripture, is considered as a result of unwillingness to work. So the people that are called Tsimbe, or those who are called lazy people, are the ones that were normally associated with poverty, that were associated with hunger, right? How do you become, how do you fail to get food when everyone else around you has got food? How does that happen? How is it that at your own homestead alone, that is where there is lack, that is where there is need, and other homesteads have got? So it is obviously because you did not put in the finger, you did not put in the work. You didn't work when us others were working, right? And so when you became destitute to that extent, then society viewed you as someone who is lazy, who doesn't want to work. And so, therefore, marrying off a child because of your laziness was not something that was encouraged in the Bantu way of life, or even in the scripture way of life. It wasn't really encouraged, but it was something that was practiced. It was a way out, right, that our ancestors found to be useful in times of need. And so it was done. And us as Bantu people, we also have been doing it. Now, marrying off a daughter was a way of deliverance. It was a way of deliverance. Marrying off a daughter because of, then there was something also called, which you call in Bantu Shona Musengabere, right? Like you just pick up a maid and carry it to your home, like you are doing it against her will. You just admire her, and then you love her, because some of the men were not able to propose. Maybe they were shy, or whatever reason, for whatever reasons. But when they saw someone that they admired, that they liked, that they loved, and they could not do anything, it was customary that people like that would pick up a maid and take her with him to his house and detain her there. And this was done against her will, right? It was not like she chose it. And this is also seen to have been happening even in the scriptures. You read in Judges chapter 21, I'll start from verse 20 up to verse 24. A similar practice here. It says, therefore, they commanded the children of Benjamin, saying, go and lie in wait in the vineyards. And see, and behold, if the daughters of Shiloh come out to dance in dances, then come ye out of the vineyards, and catch you every man his wife of the daughters of Shiloh, and go to the land of Benjamin. So the women of Benjamin had been killed, right? They've been destroyed, and a lot of people had been destroyed, except for these ones that had run away and had gone into the caves. Now, when the war was over, they come and they don't have any wife, right? And the rest of the tribes of Yashra are saying, we are not going to give you our own women. So they were looking for women from Shiloh, right? The daughters of Shiloh. And verse 22 says, and it shall be when their fathers or their brethren come unto us to complain, that we will say unto them, be favorable unto them for our sakes, because we reserved not to each man his wife in the war. For ye did not give unto them at this time, that ye should be guilty. Right. And the children of Benjamin did so, and they took them wives according to their number of them that danced, whom they caught, and they went and they returned unto their inheritance, and they repaired the cities, and they dwelt in them. So you can see, they just caught them, take them away with them, and they go with them to their cities, and they've become wives to these Benjamin men. It's a practice that was done by Yashraelites. It's a practice that was done by Bantu people, right? If it looks the same, then it is most certainly the same people. If the practice is the same as in the scriptures and as it is in the Bantu, therefore the Bantu people are doing a practice which was found in the scriptures, which was done by the people of the scriptures. I'm not looking at the merits and the demerits of these practices. I'm just trying to show you that what was done by the ancient people of the scriptures went on to be done by the Bantu people, implying that what you read in the scripture is completely and totally Bantu-centric. It's Bantu. There's no way we can run away from that. And the children of Yashra departed thence, and that time every man to his tribe and to his family, and they went out from thence every man to his inheritance. So after that war, the Benjamin people have caught women, right? They've caught women, the daughters of Shiloh, and they've taken them with them to their cities and made them wives. Just like the Msengabere, where a man sees a maid and catches her and takes with him to his home, detain her there until she goes to the in-laws, and they say there is actually even or what you would say, a payment that you had, which they called Chakira Kuno, right? Chakira Kuno was meant to say, look for your daughters from me, because I've taken your daughter. And so the man has got to pay off, right, to the family of the daughter whom he has caught and taken into his own home. You understand that? So you can see that these practices are very, very similar. Very similar. Now, this type of marriage was not common and not so encouraged, but it happened amongst the Hebrew people, and amongst the Bantu people. Of course, today's modern people, we consider it as backward and oppressive to women. You see, all this talk about women's rights and all this, you see, the devil, the devil brings out something that looks nice, that looks soft, that looks like it's fair. But in actual fact, the devil is going against the plan of Yahuwah. It's like the technology that we have, it's like the lifestyle that we have right currently. Right? We want it, we love it because it is simpler, it is softer. Right? You can have things at your fingertips. But the devil is doing this to ensnare us so that we may not wake up and see what our heritage is and go back to our heritage. Satan wants us to sleep in his hands so that when the time comes, he crushes us. He's like a serpent. He attracts us to himself. Right? Like that story which says you put a frog in water and then you start warming up the water. The frog is very comfortable, it's nice, it's dancing, until the water it starts boiling and the frog cannot come out. That's exactly what the devil is doing, right? The frog will not come out because now the water is boiled and it is being burnt. That's exactly what the devil is doing with us. He is selling to us a carrot, right? And we like what the system, the earthly system is providing for us. And we think this is advancement, we think this is good, we think this is soft, we think this is easy, the way of life that we are living, and we are not even aware of the fence, of the snare that the devil is building around us. We need to open our eyes and be wise. So we think that when we look at these issues, these practices, we think that they are archaic, they are oppressive, they are not good, and they did not keep or did not recognize women's rights. Yet the ancient people saw it as an opportunity for those who could not propose, who were shy, as an opportunity for them to also get married. Like in this case, they saw it as an opportunity to continue the posterity of Benjamin. Because if they could not get wives, how was that tribe going to continue? So it was a matter of existence. So they put existence first before any other rights that you might want to talk about. So even after death, the wife of the deceased was to be married within the family. A common practice amongst the Bantu. A practice that we see Yahuwah even making a law to cater for the widow. Now, let's read from Genesis, Bereshit chapter 38, verse 6. And Yahudah took a wife for Er, his firstborn, whose name was Tamar. And Er, Yahudah's firstborn, was wicked in the sight of Yahuwah, and Yahuwah slew him. And Yahudah said unto Onan, Go in unto thy brother's wife, and marry her, and raise up seed to thy brother. You get that? So the brother has died, so the young brother must come and make children for the brother. This is the practice in the Torah. This is the practice in the Torah. There is no any other people that I know who do this except for the Bantu people. Jews do not do it. They despise it. The Jews who are there, they don't do this. They despise it because they are Caucasian and they are pagans. Obviously, they would not like polygamy. They would not like this form of marriage. It is not in their DNA. It is not in their culture. It is not in their customs, right? You see, they might want to impose themselves as the people of the book, but there are some areas where they will be found wanting, where they will be lacking. Just by being in that land, It's not a suitable land for people like that. That's why I find a lot of them will, if they are exposed to the sun long periods, they will have skin cancer because their makeup is not for that land. That land is part of Africa, and that land is for Africans. That land is for the black people. They are the ones who can thrive in such a land like that. So we read in Deuteronomy chapter 25, verse 5, he says, if brethren dwell together, and one of them die, and have no child, the wife of the dead shall not marry without unto a stranger. Don't marry without, right? Her husband's brother shall go in unto her, and take her to him to wife, and perform the duty of an husband's brother unto her. You see that? This is very common amongst the Bantu people, a very common practice. And you don't find it anywhere else. Right? And the Bantu people are the only people that are living according to that custom. Right? Which is a scriptural custom. It therefore means that they obtained this custom from the ancient, the people of the book, meaning that they are the same people. It wouldn't work any other way. It wouldn't work any other way. Deuteronomy 25 verse 6 continues to say, and it shall be that the firstborn which she beareth shall succeed in the name of his brother which is dead, that his name be not put out of Yashra. So the young brother gets the wife, the firstborn that they get is going to be named after the deceased, so that his lineage may be continued. You see how important it is for the Bantu people and for the scriptural people to maintain, to keep the lineage, to keep the genealogy going. Huh? And the genealogy in the scriptures is always after the man. So is also the genealogy in the Bantu people. It's after the husband, right? It is the husband who matters when it comes to genealogy. Whereas with these other people, it doesn't matter. Even the woman's, they can be after the woman's genealogy, and they are named after the woman. That's not how it is in scripture and in the Bantu way of life. Verse 7 says, and if the man like not to take his brother's wife, then let his brother's wife go up to the gate unto the elders and say, my husband's brother refuseth to raise up unto his brother a name in Yashra. He will not perform the duty of my husband's brother. So it was a really curse. It was a really curse. Even when you look at Kugaranaka, according to the Bantu way of doing things, this was a very serious matter. It was a very serious matter. All the brothers would be lined up, and she would point the one that she wants to be the successor of her husband. And when you were chosen, it was not possible for you to deny. You were expected to carry out the duties of a husband's brother. Very, very similar. Very, very much the same. It is a practice in Bantu. It is also practiced in the scriptures. So if it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, then it is a duck. That's the bottom line. Now, let's just look at some of the problems encountered from marrying outside their own people. There were challenges that Yahuwah prevented our ancestors from getting themselves into them because of marrying outside their own kindred, their own people. Now, I just want to examine, to look at that and see if we can cover the ones that I prepared. There is a lot of challenges that Yahuwah speaks to concerning marrying foreign wives, right? There's a lot, but I think we can read through that and see how far we can go. So yeah, if in his wisdom knew that if they married to other people, to foreigners, there were bound to be problems. And he prevented them from that practice of marrying from other people. We read in Genesis chapter 26, verse 34, he says, and Esau was 40 years old when he took to wife Judith, right, the daughter of Beeri the Hittite, and Bashmat, the daughter of Elon the Hittite. Elon Musk is a Hittite. So Esau gets married to Judith and to Basmat, who are Hittites. Hittites are Canaanites. They are descendants of Ham, right? These are people that come from the lineage of Ham, right? Which were, so verse 35 continues to say, which were a grief of mind unto Yitzhak and to Rebekah. So the parents of Esau did not want their son to get married to these foreigners, to these Gentiles, to these Canaanites. They did not want. It was a grief to them. And verse 46 says, Genesis 27:46 says, and Rebekah said to Yitzhak, I am weary of my life because of the daughters of Heth. If Jacob take a wife of the daughters of Heth, or Heth, such as these which are of the daughters of the land, what good shall my life do me? So she is mourning what she has experienced and seen because of the daughters of the Hittites, whom their son Esau married. She can't imagine that the other son, Yakuba, will also go the same way. And then we read in Bereshit chapter 28, verse 1 to up to 5. It says, and Yitzhak called Jacob and blessed him and charged him and said unto him, thou shalt not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan. You hear that? Arise, go to Padanaram, to the house of Bethuel, thy mother's father, and take thee a wife from thence of the daughters of Laban, thy mother's brother. So here marriage is being organized in the family according to their kindred, right? And so Rebekah does not want her daughter to get a son to get married to the local maidens, but rather the father now devises a plan that they go to Laban and get a wife there. And verse 3, Bereshit 28 verse 3 says, and allow him Almighty barakah thee, and make thee fruitful, and multiply thee, that thou mayest be a multitude of people. So that is the promise given to Abraham. That is the promise given to Yitzhak. That's the promise Yitzhak is also giving to Jacob. So that must be realized. And it can only be realized as they get married. Right? To women. Not men to men. You will not have children from that marriage. Right? And they had to be women from their own kindred. They had to fulfill the plan of Yahuwah. And so Yitzhak pronounces a barakah to his son. And then it continues, verse 4 says, and give thee the barakah of Abraham, to thee and to thy seed with thee, that thou mayest inherit the land wherein thou art a stranger, which Elohim gave to Abraham. So, Yitzhak is transferring the barakah to his son, Jacob. That he is going to be the one that is going to take over, right? He is going to take over the barakah of Abraham, and that barakah should find its fulfillment in Yitzhak, in Jacob. In verse 5, It says, and Yitzhak sent away Jacob, and he went to Padan Aram unto Laban, son of Bethuel, the Syrian, the brother of Rebekah, Jacob's and Esau's mother. So he went there, right? And that's where we carry on from where we read in Bereshit 24, where he gets married. Sorry, Bereshit 24 is Yitzhak getting married to Rebekah, and then we get on from there. Now, Yakuba goes to the same place, right, and also gets a wife. Now, another story that you might want to read in your own spare time is in Bereshit chapter 34. In Bereshit chapter 34 talks about an unacceptable marital union that resulted in all the men of Shechem being slaughtered. So, just to show you that marriage, as far as our ancestors was concerned, it was supposed to be from the people of your own, right? And when Shechem violated Dinah or Dinah, the sister of Shimon, right? They then had to go and attack, right, Shechem and his people, because they had done a thing that is not done in Yahshua. So you read that in Bereshit chapter 34 that it was not acceptable for anyone to marry, especially by force, to nations that were not of their kindred. It was not accepted. So we see also that marriage in Scripture was also done to preserve wealth and royalty. We read that in Numbers 36. I don't know whether we didn't read this last time, but maybe I should just read it. It's in Numbers 36. It says, "This is the thing which Yahuwah doth command concerning the daughters of Zelophehad, who was a descendant. This one was a descendant of Yahusef, saying, let them marry to whom they think best. Only to the family of the tribe of their father shall they marry." You get that? They were to marry from the tribe of their father. These ladies were all women in that family, and there was no one to take inheritance of their father. And so, because they to keep the inheritance for their father, they themselves were to marry, right, from their own tribe, so that the inheritance remains in the tribe. So verse 7, Numbers 36:7 says, "So shall not the inheritance of the children of Yahshua remove from tribe to tribe. For every one of the children of Yahshua shall keep himself to the inheritance of the tribe of his fathers." You get that? "And every daughter that possesseth an inheritance in any tribe of the children of Yahshua shall be wife unto one of the family of the tribe of her father, that the children of Yahshua may enjoy every man the inheritance of his fathers." You see, this is the thing that we've inherited. That is why if you are Bantu, there is no way you cannot have land. Right? If you come from a village, there is no way a Bantu child cannot have land. All the members of that family are going to have to share the land that their ancestors held, and that land cannot pass on to another family. That is the law. That is the traditional law today amongst the Bantu people. If it looks like a duck, and quacks like a duck, and swims like a duck, then it's a duck. There are no people on earth today that can claim this type of inheritance that the Bantu people have. That's why I often say the Bantu people, by the very nature of their creation and their calling, Yahuwah purposed that they are rich, they are wealth people. Because with the land, you are destined for great things. It's only because of sin that the land is no longer giving us what it is supposed to give. But if we go back to true worship, we go back to Yahuwah, He is going to restore that heritage to His people, and the land will give again, and there will be plenteous food and wealthy in the people of the book, and those that are grafted into that commonwealth of Yahshua. Beloved, we have inherited something that no other nation can claim to have inherited. What a blessing. So verse 9 says, neither shall the inheritance remove from one tribe to another tribe, but every one of the tribes of Yahshua shall keep himself to his own inheritance. Even as Yahuwah commanded Masha, so did the daughters of Zelophehad. For Mashla, Tiriza, and Hagla, and Milcah, and Noah, the daughters of Zelophehad, were married unto their father's brothers' sons to keep the wealth in the family, in the tribe, in the clan. And they were married unto the families of the sons of Manasseh, the son of Yahuseth, and their inheritance remained in the tribe of the family of their father. These are the commandments and judgments which Yahuwah commanded by the hand of Masha unto the children of Yahshua in the plains of Moab by Yarden near Jericho. It can't get clearer than this. This is all what it is about. This is Yahuwah's design. Listen to Joshua 23. I'll start from verse 12. It says, else, if you do in any wise go back and cleave unto the remnant of these nations, even these that remain among you, and shall make marriages with them, and go in unto them, and they to you, know for certainty that Yahuwah your Elohim will no more drive out any of these nations from before you, but they shall be snares and traps unto you, and scourges in your sides, and thorns in your eyes, until you perish off this good land which Yahuwah your Elohim has given you. So prevented them from getting married to the local Canaanites. He wanted them to remain a pure nation of Yahshua. But if they would go against Yahuwah's counsel, instructions, and get married to those people, Yahuwah was not going to remove them from the land. And they were going to stay there and continue to be a snare unto them. And behold, this day I am going the way, verse 14, Yahusha 23, verse 14. It says, and behold, this day I am going the way of all the earth, and you know in all your hearts and in all your souls that not one thing that failed of all the good things which Yahuwah your Elohim spake concerning you, all are come to pass unto you, and not one thing has failed thereof. Therefore, it shall come to pass that as all good things are come upon you, which Yahuwah your Elohim promised you, so shall Yahuwah bring upon you all evil things, until he have destroyed you from off the good land which Yahuwah your Elohim has given you. When you have transgressed the covenant of Yahuwah your Elohim, which he commanded you, and have gone and served other mighty ones, and bowed yourselves to them, then shall the anger of Yahuwah be kindled against you, and you shall perish quickly from off the good land which he has given you. Beloved, marriage to Gentile nations was a constant snare for Yahshua. Therefore, was to be avoided. It made them stray after pagan deities, just as they are now steeped in Christianity. I don't see any people that uphold Christianity on earth more than the Bantu people do. Those who came with Christianity, they don't regard it in their own lens. They don't. Even if you go to Africa itself, you find very few of them who will do Christianity. But when you look at the Bantu, the way, how strong they are in Christianity, it just baffles the mind. You know what? Because by nature, we are created worshipping beings. The Bantu people are by nature a worshipping people. And if they do not have the right system of worship, if they do not have the true worship, then they can easily stray into strange systems of worship because their DNA propels them to worship. And when there is nothing good to worship, they end up worshiping anything that they find, which they are convinced that it is truth. That's what they've done with Christianity. Their disposition is inclined towards worship more heavily than any other nations. And because of that, when you bring in anything that is going to do with worship to the Bantu people, they will accept it hook, liner, and sinker. That's why today, if you like, the greatest number of Christians are found amongst the Bantu people. Everywhere where you go in Africa, you will find a Christian church. You will find it. But I'm pleading with Yahuwah that may Yah open the eyes and the minds of his people, that they may see true worship and be restored to true worship and vomit out this Babylonian system of worship which is called Christianity. Vomit it. Vomit it. Vomit it. It's not truth. Christianity is not truth. It is error. It is Babylonian by its very nature. When you are steeped into Christianity, you are in Babylon, and therefore you need to come out of Babylon. That's why Yahuwah is revealing these truths to you, so that you may see who you are and go back to the worship of the ancient, of your forefathers. That is the worship that Yahuwah called you to. So we continue to read in Judges chapter 14, and you see that getting married to foreign women made them go into disobedience. Let's read the story of Samson. It's quite a long story, but we'll just read a few portions that can actually show us what we want to reveal from Scripture. And Samson, or Shimshon, went down to Timnath, and they saw a woman in Timnath of the daughters of the Philistines. And he came up and told his father and his mother and said, I have seen a woman in Timnath of the daughters of the Philistines. Now therefore get her for me to wife. He was smitten with love for this Philistine woman. And he wants her for a wife. Then his father and his mother said unto him, Is there never a woman among the daughters of thy brethren, or among all my people, that thou goest to take a wife of the uncircumcised, the Philistines? And Samson said unto his father, Get her for me, for she pleaseth me well. Ah, the man is smitten. He is in love with this Philistine, uncircumcised Philistine. But his father, verse 4, but his father and his mother knew not that it was of Yahuwah, and that he sought an occasion against the Philistines, for at that time the Philistines had dominion over Yashrael. And it came to pass on the 7th day that they said unto Samson's wife, Entice, that's verse 15, sorry, I've jumped from verse 4, I've gone up to verse 15. And it came to pass on the 7th day that they said to Samson's wife, Entice thy husband, that he may declare unto us the riddle, lest we burn thee and thy father's house with fire. Have you called us to take that we have? Is it not so? And Samson's wife wept before him and said, Thou dost but hate me, and lovest me not. Hey, when a man is told these words by the wife, these are the words that propel men to act swiftly. thou hast put forth a riddle unto the children of my people, and hast not told it me. And he said unto her, Behold, I have not told it to my father, nor to my mother, nor my mother, and shall I tell it thee? Verse 17, and she wept before him the 7 days while their feast lasted. And it came to pass on the 7th day that he told her, because she lay sore upon him. And she told the riddle to the children of her people. And the men of the city said unto him on the 7th day, before the sun went down, What is sweeter than honey, and what is stronger than a lion? And he said unto them, If ye have not plowed with my heifer, you have not found out my riddle. So Judges 16 verses 5 to 20 speaks about how Delilah, the Philistine woman, led to the demise of Samson. Scripture is very explicit. Yahweh discouraged them from marrying amongst non-Hebrew people. And because he was married to these people, his destruction also came through marriage. In Deuteronomy chapter 7 verse 3 to verse 16, it reads the injunctions here that Yahweh, scripture is very explicit here, Yahweh discouraged them from marrying amongst non-Hebrew. It says in verse 3, Deuteronomy 7 verse 3, Deuteronomy 7 verse 3, Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou give unto thy son. So that was a no-no. They were not to marry from these nations. It was a no-no. The reason was purely that they keep the worship of Yahweh. Because partners in marriage influence us into deciding what we are going to, who we are going to worship. You need to be very strong by the favor of Yahweh, not to go according to the church of your wife. You need to be very strong by the grace of Yahweh, not to go to the church of your husband. So, verse 4 continues to say, For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may save other mighty ones. So will the anger of Yahweh be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly. Verse 5. But thus shall ye deal with them. You shall destroy their altars, break down their images, cut down their groves, and burn their graven images with fire. This is the instruction that Yahweh gave. Don't get close to these people, rather destroy everything that is associated with their worship. For thou art an Kodesh people unto Yahuwah, thy Elohim. Yahuwah, thy Elohim, has chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. You are loved, you Bantu people. Yahuwah has chosen your ancestors, similarly has chosen you also to be the light for the world. You need to obey Yahuwah's instructions so that the world can see the true primitive way of life and worship that Yahuwah ordained for you, and come out of these satanic systems of worship that are prevalent on this earth. Verse 7, Yahuwah did not set his love upon you, nor choose you, because you were more in number than any people, for you were the fewest of all people. So it was not about our multitude or our multiplicity. It was about Yah's favor on us. But because Yahuwah loved you, and because he would keep the oath which he had sworn unto your fathers, as Yahuwah brought you out with a mighty hand, and redeemed you out of the house of bondmen, from the hand of the Pharaoh, king of Mizraim. Know therefore, verse 9, that Yahuwah thy Elohim, he is Elohim, the faithful Elohim, which keepeth covenant and the mercy with them that love him, and keep his commandments to 1,000 generations, and repay them that hate him to their face, to destroy them. He will not be slack to him that hated him. He will repay him to his face. So choose you. Choose you this day what you would follow. Obedience or disobedience. And you get the rewards of either. Thou shalt therefore keep the commandments and the statutes and the judgments which I command thee this day to do them. Wherefore it shall come to pass, if you hearken to these judgments and keep and do them, that Yahuwah thy Elohim shall keep unto thee the covenant and the mercy which is square unto thy fathers. So you can only do this as you marry in your own people, raise a family with your own kindred. You know, you cannot do this with ease, with comfort, if you get married to strange women. You can't do it. Verse 18. And he will love thee, and barakah thee, and multiply thee. He will also barakah the fruit of thy womb, and the fruit of thy land, thy corn, and thy wine, and thy oil, the increase of thy kine, and the flocks of thy sheep, in the land which is square unto thy fathers to give thee. I always say, you know what? You can't separate the land or agriculture from salvation. These are one and the same thing. You cannot claim to be out of Babylon when you still practice Babylonian systems of agriculture. You can't claim you are out of Babylon when you still deal exactly with issues and things the way it is done in Babylon, denying to do it the way the scriptures actually admonish us to do things. You are still in Babylon. You are still steeped in Babylon. If you wear clothing like the people of Babylon, if you eat like the people of Babylon, you are still in Babylon. You have not yet come out of Babylon. You need to dissociate yourself completely from Babylon. You need to treat the land the way your forefathers treated the land. You don't wreck the land as what Babylonians do. You don't wreak havoc on the land as what Babylonians do. Look at the way when they do mining. They are destroying everything. They have no regard to the land. They have no respect for the land. They ravage it. They destroy it. Come out of here, my people. Come out of those systems, satanic systems that are out to destroy Yahuwah's earth. Verse 14. Thou shalt be barakah above all people. There shall not be male or female barren among you or among your cattle. This is the barakah that Yahuwah is pronouncing upon his people. He is pronouncing a barakah to those that obey him. Don't get married to strange women. You will forfeit the blessings, the barakah of Yahuwah. And thou shalt consume all the people which Yahuwah thy Elohim shall deliver thee. Thine eye shall have no pity upon them, neither shalt thou save their mighty ones, for that will be a snare unto thee. So Yahuwah says, destroy everything. Yeah, in his wisdom, he wants to leave the place secured for you. He wants to put away iniquity. He wants to put away any snares in your life. And when he does that, sometimes it costs a lot to do that, and you must accept and cooperate with Yahuwah. Sometimes you need to forego the things that are dear to you in order for you to secure a close relationship with Yahuwah. Even if it means your job, even if it means your status, you have to forego that in order for you to secure a close relationship, a saving relationship with the Elohim of Yeshua. Beloved, we are going to come to a place where we have to view the things of this world as dung. If we are not yet there, we will have to come to that place where we see the things of Babylon as dung, not even cow dung, but human dung. And when we come to that level, Yahuwah will then step in our lives. So we have King Solomon also getting married to strange women. What effect did it have on him? Let's read from 1 Kings 11 verse 1. It says, "But King Solomon loved many strange women, together with the daughter of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Zidonians, Hittites, of the nations concerning which Yahuwah said unto the children of Israel, you shall not go into them, neither shall they come in unto you. For surely they will turn away your heart after their mighty ones. Solomon clave unto these in love." So what happened? Marriages to foreigners would result in breaking the covenant, hence breakage of relationship with Yah. So what happened to Solomon? He strayed away from Yahuwah because of these many strange women. In the book of Joshua, I think we read 23. We read that. Let's go to continue with Solomon. Let's continue with Solomon and see what happens when he got married to all these strange women that he had. Right. He had such marriages which led to his straying. Okay, we see that Solomon, as a result of these many strange women, he went on to worship other deities, the gods of those people that he got married to. So as a result, he was just full of confusion. You worship this deity of this wife, this deity of this wife, this deity of this wife. What will come of you? So marriage determines to a great extent your spirituality. We need to be very careful who we get married to. Especially, I'm talking especially to the young people. And to you parents, teach your children. If you and me made mistakes in marrying into the Philistines, do not allow your children to marry amongst the Philistines if you are believers. We have to correct this. We must correct this. We must correct this, beloved. Getting married to strange women affects our spirituality. So the next topic I want to look at is raising children according to the scripture and how children are raised according to the Bantu way of life. You are going to see stark differences between the Bantu way of raising children with the Western way of raising children. And you are going to see how it is affecting our spirituality as a people, because we copy everything that we see being done by other nations. We are so quick to adopt, accept, and do what other nations do. My people. But the repercussions, we will see them. We will see them. So next time, let's look at raising up children according to the scripture way, which is the Bantu way, vis-a-vis these other nations' way of raising children. May Abba Baya be with us, Baraka us on this Shabbat day. Alala Uyara.